my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me for another one of my videos. So this was another highly requested video from you guys, so I've been working through my list of to-dos of videos that you have requested. So I wanted to talk to you today about how to deal with loneliness. Now this is something I have so much experience in, and I don't know why I've never spoken about it before. I guess because, I don't know, I don't know why I've never spoken about it before. So really glad that, you know, you guys have asked for this video, because it is definitely something I've had to combat and I've had to really accept and become at peace with. So I'm hoping that any advice and any tips that I can give you today really helps you to feel that peace, feel that inner comfort, and to help you become your own best friend more than anything. So surprisingly enough, it's actually next month that I've lived by myself for 3 years. 3 years. I mean, when I say it, it doesn't feel real, because I'm like, how is that? Like, I don't know whether it's just gone so quickly, but I think in my head I forget that I live by myself sometimes. I forget that I live by myself, and then I find myself thinking, oh god, yeah, you do live by yourself. And obviously I work from home as well, so I work and live by myself. So I had the best of both worlds to deal with. Not just like going to work in an office and then coming home and feeling lonely. Nope, the whole day and whole night. So the reason why I started living by myself, as you guys will know, is because my past relationship broke down 3 years ago, and I was living with him at the time, and then I was left with that flat to pay, which was shit. So not only did I have to face a breakup, did I have to face healing myself, and dealing with all of that. I had to face loneliness, I had to face paying the bills by myself. So it was an awakening time, shall we say. It was hard, but probably, like, when I look back, is what I needed, like, to become the person I am today, and to spiritually awaken and to get on the path that I was meant to get on. So yeah, I've lived by myself for 3 years, and I think I prefer it. Like, I think now I've become so comfortable with it. I've become so at peace and happy with it, and just totally surrendered to even, you know, thinking about my future or thinking about what's going to happen, like, in my relationship and stuff, that I've just become so at peace with living by myself. I really enjoy it, and I think definitely moving into my dream house totally helped. I think if I was still in my old flat, it would really affect me. And I just didn't like the vibes in that flat at all. I think because of what had happened there, like, you know, no matter how much I tried to cleanse it or tried to, like, bring positive vibes in, I did manage to change the vibe around, definitely towards the end, but still I think it just held memories. So I think sometimes when you, like, live in a place where there's, like, you know, memories with an ex or whatever the circumstance, that can definitely not help. So I'd never been alone like that before. I'd always lived with my parents or lived with an ex-boyfriend. So to just suddenly be, like, thrown into that situation where I work at home all day and then live by myself was just awful, because I couldn't be alone with myself. That was my problem. I couldn't be alone with myself. I couldn't feel comfortable. I didn't love myself. God, I had nothing. Like, I was depressed as hell. So I didn't have any self-love. I didn't have any self-respect. Obviously, like, I was at rock bottom. I was picking myself back up from what was, wow, just a transformational time, to put it lightly. Like, you know, a painful transformational time, which, you know, changed my life around forever. So I remember in the beginning, like, I definitely tried to just surround myself with my friends as much as possible, which wasn't always possible. So, like, you know, I'd make sure that I spoke to my family on the phone often. I'd make sure that I spoke to my friends on the phone, and, you know, that really helped me, because in the evenings, like, you know, I didn't just want to watch TV all night. I didn't just want to, like, numb out in front of the television. I wanted to, you know, speak to someone or have that company as such. So if I couldn't go out and see people, then obviously I would, you know, talk to them on the phone, things like that. So I was definitely using that as a crutch for a while, to, yeah, to just feel some comfort, to feel I had a company, etc. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, communication with our loved ones, our friends, is super important. So definitely, like, make sure you have that unit around you where you can kind of rely on them and trust them and know that like, you know, you've got them there for support. But definitely, like, my number one top tip is self-love throughout this all. Like, I got to a stage where I was like, I'm just gonna have to do self-love because there's no other options. I can't change the situation I'm in. I can't just like magically manifest this dream guy yet. And I was just in a place of, I have to become comfortable with this. So as soon as I started doing the law of attraction, as soon as I started doing spirituality, I did obviously work on self-love quite naturally, and I did become more at peace. And you know, I think definitely if you were in the same situation as me, like an ex has moved out or something, like cleanse that house, cleanse those vibes, cleanse it, because I think that made me feel a lot more comfortable. Like, to start off with, I felt really like sketchy and really scared of that flat, and I think it was just the energy that had lingered there of arguments and weird stuff that happened. So I think definitely like cleanse your space, cleanse your home. You can do that with aura sprays, you can do that with white sage, you can do that with Palo Santo. You know, have a look online, or even incense sticks. They do white sage incense sticks. So white sage is like really good. Aura cleansing sprays are really good. See what you vibe with, but definitely clear those vibes, and you know, set your own vibes in your house. That's what I swear by. And obviously when I moved into this house, it was a new build, so no one had lived here before, which was such a benefit because I set the vibes that I wanted here. Like, you know, I've set them, and like everybody comments how good the vibes are in this house, and it is because I work on it. It's because this has become my peaceful sanctuary, and it is because I feel at home. And that's, I think because I feel at home within myself, I feel at home in my home. And obviously I've lived here for 2 years now. I love this house. It's so positive, it's so uplifting, and it's just a total different energy. So I think definitely my kind of circumstances or location helped as such by moving, but definitely like self-love is the number one key. And actually, like, I really want to recommend this book. I've only read it recently, so I didn't read this back in the day. I, you know, worked on self-love, did EFT, like did loads of other spiritual practices that I recommend all the time on my channel. But this book I've picked up recently, and it does talk about loneliness and stuff. So I thought, oh, this is going to be epic to recommend to people because it gives you the basics. So even though I've been doing self-love for years now, you know, this has just given me even more advice, affirmations, and just really good, like, because I feel like sometimes we forget these things. We come so far and we learn so much, and then I come back and I'm like, oh God, I forgot that I need to do that, or I need to do this. So, you know, books like this, although you may think you know it, they're really good to just like, you know, pick up and learn new things, someone else's perspective, you know, because this is a new author who I hadn't read before. And this is definitely good if you are starting your self-love journey. So it's called The Miracle of Self-Love, and it's by Barbel Mora. I'm terrible with names. So I've really loved this book. I've literally devoured it in a couple of days. It's about 200 pages, so it's not too bad, but just some of the tips in here about loneliness are really good, and something I definitely did myself. And even things like, you know, in there it's got, if you're an expert at you know, being by yourself, then, you know, analyze this. And I was like, oh my God, you know, it doesn't really talk about when you're kind of like an expert at it, you know, to check in with yourself still and make sure that, you know, you are still making sure that your time is quality time. And that is something I've really looked at recently is, okay, I'm comfortable with spending time by myself, like really comfortable. I'm used to it. I feel calm with it. I feel accepting of it. I don't have a problem with it. I look forward to it sometimes, as crazy as that sounds. And yeah, it was actually saying, you know, like check in with yourself and still check in and say, is the time I'm spending with myself quality time or quantity time? And that really clicked with me because I thought, oh, I think it could be more quality time. So before I would just like, you know, watch Netflix, you know, do work, you know, just zone out. Whereas now I'm like consciously like reading more books. I'm, you know, really working on myself and working on any kind of wounds that have come up or triggers that have come up. So for me, I have definitely been looking more at quality time rather than quantity time. And just making sure that, you know, the time I am spending by myself, whether it's through choosing to or having no control whatsoever, is being used. It's like useful. It is, you know, bringing joy to me and bringing a purpose rather than just watching TV or doing meaningless shit. It's whether it is adding value to my life, if anything. So I definitely think like this is obviously quite an advanced thing, like we've got to get to feeling comfortable first. But if you are watching this and you are quite advanced, or you've been doing it for a long while and you're like, okay, yeah, I've become accepting, I think I'm there, I think I'm like, you know, getting there, then it's definitely just checking in and saying like, what's your is it quantity time or is it quality time you're spending with yourself? So nurture yourself. Like for me, really like over the last month, I've spent a lot of time by myself, like through, you know, just through things happening and, you know, just things out of my control. And I've really enjoyed it again. I've really, you know, I've cleared out my house. You'll see that from my past videos. I've been cleaning, tidying, Marie Kondoing, Mrs. Hinching. I've really taken pride in my home, which has created even more positive vibes. It's created even more harmony when I do spend time here by myself all day and, you know, all night if I'm working all day. So it has created so much more inner peace. And obviously I've been reading lots of books. I've been doing self-development, healing, stuff like that. So definitely, like, if you are spending a lot of time by yourself at the moment, there is a reason for that. And, you know, at this moment I've been, you know, my challenge has been to hermit, to really go within, to recharge my batteries after a really busy 18 months out of working constantly. So I've kind of needed this reset period of chilling, you know, becoming comfortable with myself again, and learning that I don't just need to find bits of work to be, you know, comfortable with myself. You know, I can do lots of interesting things that still bring me great joy. So if you are living by yourself and you're just like stuck with this, you're just like, I don't know what to do, I'm bored, like boredom is a big thing for me. Like I always find I'm someone who wants to be doing something constantly. So boredom has been like a big thing for me. And you know, over the last 3 years. And for me, it's about, like I said, finding those activities or finding those things that are going to bring you joy, but equally add purpose to your time that you're spending with yourself. So do self-love practices, do some self-development, read a good book, watch your favorite movie, go for a walk. Exercise is definitely something I'm really conscious of, is like, you know, am I going out and walking? So instead of saying like, oh, I'm only going to go and send you guys parcels certain days of the week, if I can do it every day, I will do it every day, because it gets me out the house, it gets me interacting with people. It's obviously exercise, like walking to the post office and stuff. So for me, I'm really conscious of that, of like, what's my outdoors time today? What's my exercise for today? How can I switch off from work for a little bit? But obviously some days that's not possible, when I've got videos to film, when I've got editing, when I've got live coaching sessions, when I've got books. I mean, I've had it all recently, and I still have a lot of it, like planning retreats, podcasts, blog posts, everything I do. So, you know, some days it is slightly impossible, but I definitely am more conscious of that. So if you are feeling bored, if you're like, oh my God, I'm sick of my own company, like, you know, and everyone's busy, you know, because I kind of live in an area which isn't like that close to my friends or my family. Like I have to travel to get places. So, you know, it's not like I can just pop around the corner and see my friends. Like I've got to make a plan, and obviously they have their own lives as well. So, you know, it's not possible to see each other all of the time, and they work and I work. So, you know, it's really about finding that comfort and that acceptance. So my number one advice of getting started with this, if you're in a place of like, I can't spend time with myself, I don't enjoy spending time with myself, is do it for sure. Like literally sit in that uncomfortableness, like, because where the uncomfortableness is where the breakthroughs are. So if you feel bored, if you feel frustrated, if you feel angry, like journal these things down, like see where the outside triggers are coming from. So if you are angry at someone or something, for you're like blaming them almost for that loneliness, then you need to work on forgiveness for that person and forgiveness for yourself. And your ego will avoid these things. Like your ego will try to like make you think it's really wrong to be spending time by yourself, or, you know, why would you do that? That's weird. Nobody spends time by themselves. But we spend the most time with ourselves. We're born into this world alone. We will exit this world alone. And we spend the most time with ourselves. So we need to make sure that that is the most healthiest of relationships over any other relationship in our life. So self-love, 100%. Like have a look at my self-love videos. I've got some blog posts on self-love as well. There's loads of stuff I do on self-love here on this channel. And really, you know, practice your self-love. You know, set some practices aside. And I also find that scheduling my day really helps me. I do that anyway for my work, so I make sure I do it on weekends as well if I'm spending weekends by myself, because like if everybody's busy or whatever, or people are away, you know, I'm like, right, I don't just want to sit and watch Netflix all weekend. So I schedule my days of what I'm gonna do. If I want to do a bit of work, if I want to do self-love, if I want to do some face masks or something, like I will schedule my day so I know what I'm doing and I feel busy. I feel like, right, I've got a checklist almost of stuff to do. I know what I'm doing. So definitely do that for yourself and challenge yourself, find activities. I used to really love going for lunch by myself. It was just like a little treat me moment, a little self-love moment. I really loved it, and it taught me to become comfortable with sitting in public by myself as well. You know, it always feels that like weird stigma of, oh, I can't possibly go for a coffee by myself. I can't possibly sit and have lunch by myself. But it's finding these uncomfortable moments and transforming them, you know, saying like, I can do this, and pushing yourself to do it. And that's what I did. I pushed myself to do it. I was like, I'm not staying in this flat any longer. I'm going out for lunch. I'm enjoying my weekend and making the most of what I could. And that is what helped me manifest, you know, amazing friends into my life, was becoming my own best friend. So work on your self-love. Whatever you want a man to do, whatever you want a best friend to do, like give yourself those things. You know, if you are in a transitional period where you're like manifesting a partner, or you're manifesting friends, or I don't know what your situation could be, like really see it as it's not a permanent destination. You're not going to be alone forever. Like I always see this as like a transitional period where I get to really go within myself. I get to really be at peace with myself. And like I said, I've got to such a point where I feel comfortable, I feel at peace, and I've accepted that, you know, I need to feel good with my own company, because otherwise I'm gonna go mad. I've reached a place where I love living by myself. I enjoy it. My home is my sanctuary. It's full of positive vibes. You know, I've got my house how I want it, with all the furniture and stuff I love, and crystals everywhere. You know, like make your home your happy place. So definitely have a look at my cleaning and tidying up video as well, because making sure your home is a real, you know, positive, peaceful sanctuary is equally as important. Because if you're spending a lot of time in your home like I do for work and pleasure, you want it to be a positive, uplifting place which brings you joy, that, you know, feels clean and tidy, and it makes you feel uplifted. So, you know, when I go out for the day, when I have a day off and I go see my friends or whoever, like, you know, I come back and I look forward to coming back to my house. I don't kind of walk in and think, oh, I've got an evening by myself now. I think, right, what things could I do tonight to spark me joy? Okay, I could have a nice relaxing bath. I could talk to my friend. I could catch up with someone. I could do some work. I could read a book. I could watch that film I've been meaning to watch. So set yourself dates with yourself. Really become at peace with yourself, at home with yourself. Embrace your home, accept it, become grateful. Gratitude is definitely the #1 key. And I think as well, like, I've always been really independent, but this, like, over the last 3 years has like forced me to be independent more than anything. You know, it taught me to be financially independent. It taught me to be emotionally independent. And I'm so grateful for those lessons, because if I hadn't have lived by myself for 3 years and kind of, you know, had like when I was single for a year, you know, I obviously was by myself a lot. And if I didn't have those moments of uncomfortableness, I wouldn't have found the peace and, you know, love and inner tranquility within myself of the relationship I have with myself. And now I know that, like, moving on in my life, that I could be really grateful for this time, because, you know, at some point I'm going to have kids, I'm going to be married, I'm going to, you know, I'm not going to live by myself forever. So I'm really grateful for these moments that I can, the peaceful moments where there's no kids shouting at me, like there's no man like pestering me, you know, I can just be like, right, I am me, I am happy, like I enjoy my reading time, you know, be grateful for this time that you have, because very soon, like I said, like you may be in a completely different situation. You could go into a really amazing relationship that moves really quickly, and then you move in and you get married and have kids or whatever. You know, you could be in any situation, you could move in with friends. So be grateful for this time, because I know so many people in this world who are like, Emma, you should be so lucky that you live by yourself. And I do feel lucky. I actually do feel lucky because I really value the time. I really value the space, the positive vibes, the peacefulness, because it brings that peacefulness into me. So this is like really setting me up for my life of, you know, having that financial independence, having that emotional independence. So I don't have to rely on people for happiness. And I used to do that so much in my past relationships. I used to rely on them to make me happy. I used to rely on so much. So it's been what I needed more than anything. It has just been the best thing, like the best thing. And I just, like I said, I forget I live by myself sometimes because I'm just, you know, people are always here, like Mr. C's here, or my parents, my friends, like people are here, do you know what I mean? Like it's not like I don't see anybody. So, you know, there's always like people who come to my house or I go see them or whatever. You know, it's about finding that healthy balance of social life and of home time as well. So, you know, it's about looking at your life and saying, okay, am I spending, you know, a healthy amount of time that feels good to me with friends, with boyfriends, going out, family, whatever, or, you know, could I improve that and could I spend more time at home? It's really looking at like, am I avoiding stuff? Am I avoiding spending time with myself? Or have I reached that balance? And you will know that balance by how you feel within, like if it feels good to you, or if you come home and you still feel that loneliness or that heartache or whatever, or you just don't want to be there. If you're feeling that, then it's not in balance. So really challenge yourself to look at that and say like, what feels in balance to me? What can I do to feel more comfort in this situation? And more than anything, this is about giving yourself love more than anything. So working on your self-love, becoming at peace with your situation, becoming at peace. And you know, there's so many different situations as well. You may not even live by yourself. You may live with other people, but you still feel lonely in that company. There are so many different variations of loneliness and how it can obviously, you know, trigger us and how we can feel lonely even amongst people. So whether it is that you live by yourself, you work by yourself, you live with people and you still feel alone. It's really about like what time you're spending with yourself. Is it quantity time or is it quality time? Is it beneficial and nurturing you and serving you? Like, are you up leveling with that time, or are you just wasting time, if that makes sense? Are you just hoping the hours go by, the days go by, or are you using those hours and days and times that you're alone with yourself to nurture yourself, to worship yourself, to fill your own cup, to, you know, really help your inner peace and happiness, which is helping toward your future? You know, sometimes like I used to feel especially that it was just pointless, that it was just wasted time and all of this, and I just couldn't wait until I met the dream man, or I couldn't wait until, you know, I didn't live by myself anymore. But now it's really about finding that gratitude for your situation. Remember, like, it never stops until you find gratitude for the situation you're in right now. The universe doesn't deliver what we ask for until we're completely at peace with the situation, open to all possibilities, and grateful for our current situation. And most importantly, when we need it the least. So, you know, it's really about accepting that and saying like, I may not be able to change this situation, but I can change how I feel in this situation. And I can change the way I feel in this situation by becoming peaceful within within yourself. So working on that self-love, you know, embracing that uncomfortableness and challenging yourself to say, how can I feel more comfortable in this situation? Setting yourself a schedule of time, you know, scheduling in practices you can do, or, you know, little activities, or taking yourself out for lunch. You know, a lot of this I did while manifesting the dream man as well, of, you know, dating myself. A lot of this all ties into self-love and the whole loneliness kind of sphere of becoming your own best friend, becoming your own partner, you know, really, really, really loving yourself. Because when you're at peace with yourself, when you love yourself, when you're filling your own cup, the feelings disappear almost by magic. The feelings disappear of loneliness because you understand that you are never alone. We are connected to everything in this universe. Like, we are never ever alone. And even in the physical, if it feels like that, you know, there is always someone at the end of the phone, whether it's family, friends, a partner, you know, there is always someone there for us. And it's about becoming grateful for that, grateful for the, you know, the support team that we have around us, and really knowing that this isn't our like final destination. This is just, you know, for me, like a stopgap. It's taught me so much about independence. It's taught me so much about myself as well, my self-love. And it's been transformational, if anything, because I generally think if I had gone through some of the things that I have gone through the last year or so, living with someone or living with friends or whoever, like, I think it would have been completely different. Like, sometimes I need to hermit, and when I hermit, that's like a deeply transformational time for me. So you don't want like your parents there annoying you, you don't want someone, friends, family, boyfriends there annoying you, like, so really I have enjoyed and appreciated that time and seen why that needed to happen more than anything. So now, like, moving forward in my life, you know, no matter what happens, I'm always going to be independent. I'm always going to have that financial independence, that emotional independence, and not rely on other people for happiness, and appreciate the time that I do spend by myself, or the quiet moments I do have in life. So flip it around how you see it, turn it into gratitude, turn it into appreciation, because when you can really look at the things you can be grateful for in your situation, you will feel so much more at peace with what is, rather than what you want it to be, essentially. So put those intentions out there of wanting to manifest being with someone, living with someone, I don't know, whatever it is your situation is, but let it go, accept it for what it is, accept what you can't change, and become at peace with yourself, become at peace with your situation and accept it, because that is the game changer. That is what's going to help you feel so much peace and feel so much tranquility in your home, and obviously looking at your home surroundings, making sure it's bringing you joy, it's clean, it's, you know, it's something you look forward to coming home to. And that may mean moving. For me, it did mean moving. You know, I didn't move because I necessarily hated being by myself. I moved because I wanted a garden, because I wanted that bit of extra space, and the memories for me, just, I didn't like the vibes of it. And, you know, I found a place in the perfect price, like, it was just perfect. It's everything I'd always asked for, and that was because I became at peace with my situation. I accepted what was and what I, you know, could change, which was how I looked at things and how I felt. And I became grateful for that old flat. I became grateful that, you know, it kept me warm, it kept me safe, I was able to afford it, that, you know, all the good memories it had given me, rather than attaching all negative memories to that place. So I hope this video has helped you guys with how to deal with loneliness. It's definitely a process, it's not an overnight thing. So be kind on yourself, be kinder to yourself, and, you know, realize that it is amongst the uncomfortableness that our biggest transformations happen. So it may feel shit, it may feel horrible, you may feel like you're not getting anywhere, but you really are. Like, it's progress, you really are getting there. Work on your self-love, you know, find that healthy balance of social life and spending time with yourself. Is it quantity time or is it quality time you're spending with yourself? And is the time that you are spending with yourself adding and filling your own cup, or is it just watching TV and not doing things that would add to your happiness? So look at those things, look at my self-love videos. I've got some podcasts as well on them, but most importantly, like, just become your best friend and your own life partner, because when you do that and when you reach that, you know, fulfillment inside, it manifests so much miracles in your outer, and you just feel at peace, you just feel happy, you feel at peace and accepting of, you know, that your situation is good, that you haven't got it bad, that, you know, you're loved, you're so loved, always, and, you know, you've got a house around you, money around you, and you're independent more than anything. So there's always positives that you can take away from this. So I hope this video has helped you and served you. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because I would love to see you again soon. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comments box down below, because I replied to them all, and I will see you in my next video, which will be next week. Lots of love, guys.